The crisis of COVID-19 has seen a massive rise in virtual events across various industries, and as such, social gatherings like the Jazz Festival also had to adapt to this new normal. We investigate what the feedback is to online events.
The response has been amazing, On the day itself, we managed, if we look at our figures collectively, we reached about 19,000 people, just over 19,000 people. This is commensurate with the normal audiences that we get for Jazz on the Lake. Well, those that we can allow in, because we get up to 20,000 people, which is the capacity for the Jazz on the Lake. And often we have to turn away people because then the space is full, So, but we have just checked our records. We have now over 30,000 people that have seen the Jazz at Atalife streaming.
But what did this mean for audiences, for artists?
When we were recording the artists, they were indicating that it takes twice as much for them, to present their performances because there's no audience. So there is a symbiotic relationship between the audiences and the artists. They feed off each other's energies, and I think it is an important consideration to make. Overwhelming majority of our audiences still prefer the physical performances, because they enjoy the electric environment that live performances present. They enjoy the interaction, the social camaraderie that it creates, and it is also a way of detoxing from toxic work environments, from stressful family environments, but also generally as a way of unwinding both mentally and spiritually. So I think a lot of them, they prefer that. But for those that live away from centers of performance, they think this is the way to go, So, but still, the overwhelming majority do think live performance is still the way to go.
Mr. Mshudulo is correct, as the bulk of people we spoke to confirmed that they indeed preferred the old way of doing things.
I want to go to the venue, man. It's good to be at the game, to see it.
I prefer the old traditional way of going to the events, because then you're actually there and you have the fun and you're there with all the action. So I prefer the old traditional way.
I think personally I prefer the interaction with people, which would be the traditional way. But I guess because of adaptation, one has to adapt that it's COVID-19 and one has to be safe. So what can I do about that? But preferably it would be the traditional one.
I prefer the traditional way of doing things. I think it has the vibe, the people that you'll be chilling with.
Businesses are not the only ones that have had to adapt to virtual platforms in the face of adversity, but local and national governments, as well as the city of Johannesburg, also exposed itself to this new trend when they had their first mock virtual council meeting. The city of Johannesburg has hopped onto the online bandwagon as they held a virtual mock council meeting in efforts to continue the business of the municipality.
We had the first meeting which had a few technical glitches. We had to get out of that meeting, create another Microsoft Teams meeting so that councillors can get back on. And also it's just going through trial and error at the moment. But I think as we speak now, a lot of councillors have joined in. And also a lot of them then became at least used to the system. At least we can still adhere to the strict regulations that government has passed. We can at least try and keep the distancing, social distancing, and the business of council can still continue. People won't be affected. Service delivery should still be able to continue, and people's lives must also still be improved. So it's important. And I think the trick now was that getting councillors to all be able to use the system more efficiently. Some of them are a bit older, and I heard some jokes, some of them saying, we are BBTs, and then I found out burn before technology, So some of them are laughing about it, embracing it, and I think it's a great and an amazing thing that councillors are able to take the bull by the horns so that we can move on. And I think we've got a good IT team in the city that have been working around the clock to ensure that through Microsoft Teams and other security measures are being put in place.
Hi, I'm Jade Hubner and you're watching Joburg Today.